on this very important issue. My name is Ernie Hernandez. I'm the city manager for the City of Commerce, and I'm joined here today by our legislative leaders, our labor leaders, and our employees, along with the leaders of the City of Bella Gardens. We're here today because our communities, as well as many more up and down the state of California, face a serious and immediate fiscal emergency. This emergency is not a cause of our own. The recent actions by the Attorney General, Rob Bonta, have changed decades-long cardroom regulations, and they threaten to eliminate the very games that keep our local economy thriving. For commerce, that impact is significant. Casino revenues account for 40% of the city's general fund. That funds all of our essential services. The Attorney General's own fiscal analysis says that it projects up to 50% loss in jobs and revenue for the cardroom industry. That's millions of dollars and thousands of jobs up and down the state of California in mostly disadvantaged and minority communities. Despite cities asking the Attorney General Bonta for justification and reconsideration due to the economic impacts, he moved forward with the new regulations. The threat to our city is here and now. Without reversal, we're looking at cuts to police and fire, cuts to our senior and recreation programs, slowdowns and reductions in our capital improvement program, and delays to basically all the essential services the city provides on a day-to-day basis. These services are the ones that keep our community safe, the services that keep our community supported and keep our community thriving. But we are doing what we must to counter the Attorney General's decision. Our city's unanimously declared a fiscal emergency, and it is why Commerce placed the Commerce Essential Services Protected Measure on the June 2026 ballot. A quarter-cent sales tax that's projected to bring in $4.5 million in revenue to the city. Let me be clear, we are not here to raise taxes. We are here because the decision of one person has forced our hand. Most importantly, even with this tax measure, it will not overcome the anticipated losses, and we still anticipate having to cut programs and services. So you may ask, why is this happening? We don't know. No evidence has suggested why the regulations have changed. What we do know is that the new regulations benefit very wealthy tribal casinos, and we also know that they contribute mightily to the Attorney General. So I think that is the answer. For us, this issue is about people, about jobs, families, and livelihoods. Thousands of workers in our community and many communities up and down the state of California depend on these jobs and depend on this industry to thrive. When these jobs are threatened, the impact doesn't stop there. It ripples across the entire regional community. Thank you. And again, thank you for your time and attention.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kevin Lainez. I'm the mayor of the wonderful City of Commerce. And unfortunately, today, the outlook is not so wonderful. The truth of the matter is, as our city manager explained, our state's Attorney General, Rob Bonta, has unilaterally made a decision to implement regulations on our card room that will really negate a lot of the revenue that we have coming in that funds our infrastructure projects, our fire, our law enforcement, our public safety services, and our youth and our senior programs. These are regulations that are being carried across all throughout the state. And the other thing I do want to mention is that it will result in a loss of jobs, right? The Commerce Casino is the largest employer here in the City of Commerce, and jobs now are being put at risk at the Commerce Casino because of these unilateral decisions. And the truth of the matter is, our Attorney General has circumvented the will of the people by implementing regulations, elements of which were in a failed proposition that went before the voters back in 2022. So as a result of this, the City Council has declared a fiscal emergency here in the City of Commerce and has decided to put a quarter-of-a-cent sales tax measure on the ballot this June 2026. And the reason for that is because we are projecting a loss from anywhere from $8 to $18 million. The Commerce Casino contributes about 40% of our general fund. And with the sales tax measure, if it passes, we are projecting to recoup at least $4.5 million that will stay here in the City of Commerce to help us fund our infrastructure projects, to help us fund our public safety services and our youth and senior programs. So I am asking our voters here in the City of Commerce to really consider this measure and pass it, because The City of Commerce prides itself on delivering quality services. That's been our tradition, and that is all being put at risk today. So this is a terrible situation. We are a city of 12,000 and we are a vulnerable community. We are a community of color. And if you look at the card room cities all across the state, they are also communities of color. And so we are viewing this also as an attack on communities of color. So I really want you all to take a look at what has been done, what has been proposed, and what could potentially be enacted in April. And then go to the ballots, go to the polls, and support your communities. Again, thank you all for being here. And I really want to thank our employees here behind me, because these are the faces, these are the bodies, these are the people that really represent our community, and they're the heart and soul of this city. And right now they're being put at risk with these regulations that we're seeing before us today. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm not going to be redundant. I have some talking points here, but I'm going to just veer off briefly because most of what you're hearing, you've already heard. I'm going to try to summarize it and just tell you that, look, all of these cities, ours and those cities behind us, the city of Bell Gardens, Hawaiian Gardens, and cities up and down the state of California right now are under attack by our Attorney General, Rob Bonta, and the tribes, the Indian tribes. And, you know, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And we need people's support to bring attention to this issue. It has a significant impact of many of our communities up and down the state. And if we don't, you know, raise enough pressure and get a meeting with Mr. Bonta to have him back off these very devastating impacts that he's having up and down the state on all of these communities that our mayor just talked about. It impacts many of their employees, just like our employees behind us here. It also impacts many of our employees up and down in this region as well. We have our card club, the Commerce Casino, has been a significant partner with us here in helping us provide for many of our programs and services here. It generates in excess of 40% of our annual operating budget. And in some of the cases behind me of some of the representatives here, it's probably 50, some as much as 70%. So these regulations that the Attorney General has proposed will impact each of our respective communities in a very negative manner. And so we're asking for everybody's support, and particularly with the tax measure that we just put on the ballot, that we were forced to put on. And we need your help and support our communities and all of the communities to support us with this effort. And those are my comments. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Miguel de la Rosa, Mayor for the City of Bell Gardens. We are extremely disappointed that Attorney General Rob Bonta has moved forward with regulations that will eliminate blackjack-style games and severely limit player-dealer games, games that are local card rooms, like the Bicycle Casino and the Commerce Casino, and card rooms across the state heavily rely on. To some, this may sound just like games, but for cities like Bell Gardens, it is not. Our city relies on approximately 40% of our general fund from the Bicycle Casino. With these changes, that revenue is expected to be cut in half. At the same time, we're looking at a potential loss of up to 50% of local card room jobs. That goes beyond policy change. It's a direct impact on working families, our local economy, and on the services our residents depend on. So as a city, we have to take a hard look at what lies ahead. When a major source of funding is at risk, you have two choices. You can either wait or react later, or you can plan ahead and give your community a path forward. And we've decided to take action. A big part of that reality is understanding the role of the Park West Bicycle Casino in Bell Gardens. It's a major economic driver, but more importantly, it's deeply connected to this community. The Bicycle Casino supports hundreds of local jobs many held by Bell Gardens residents who are working hard to support and sustain their families. And beyond that, they have consistently shown up as a community partner, supporting local events, investing in programs for our youth and seniors, and being present in the life of the city. This is not a business that operates in isolation. It's a genuine part of our community. It's also important to remember that card rooms are a legal business in California. For decades, the state has allowed this industry to operate. They have regulated it, they have taxed it, and gave cities like ours the ability to responsibly build our budgets around it. Now that foundation is being pulled out from underneath us, and the reality is that these challenges and these changes are being driven by powerful interests, putting our working class communities like Bell Gardens at risk, communities that can least afford to lose these resources. That is why we made the decision to place Measure BG on the ballot. We are facing a fiscal emergency, and we want our residents to clearly understand what is at stake. We also understand that any tax measure is a serious decision. Our residents are hardworking, and we do not take that lightly. This measure is about protecting what we already have. Measure BG gives our community a choice in how we protect essential services, how we maintain stability, and how we move forward together. Our responsibility is to be transparent about the challenges, the speed bumps we face, and to take responsibility and to be transparent and protect our residents and our community. So thank you so much.
Good morning, and thank you for being here. My name is Michael O'Kelly. I'm the city manager with the City of Bell Gardens. My responsibility is to ensure that the City of Bell Gardens remains financially stable, operationally sound, and able on a day-to-day basis to deliver the essential services that our residents, businesses, and other stakeholders rely on every single day. I want to start by being clear. Bell Gardens is facing the same financial emergency as our neighboring city, the City of Commerce. While our realities are the same, our financial stability is being threatened by decisions that are outside of our control. Bell Gardens depends on card room revenues as a core part of our financial structure. Every city structure and sales tax, property tax, things of that nature are determined individually, and this is a key part of the City of Bell Gardens' ability to provide essential services. The Park West Bicycle Casino in the City of Bell Gardens helps to make that possible. We generate over $17 million in card room taxes annually for our city, which is more than 40% of our entire general fund. That revenue supports the services that our residents depend on every single day. This is police, parks and recreation, senior and youth programs, crossing guards, and our community family services center. The Bicycle Casino has been more than a business. It's a committed community partner, supporting local jobs, programs, events, and families throughout Bell Gardens. The regulations, if finalized by the Attorney General Bonta, put that entire financial structure at risk. Even under conservative estimates of a 30% revenue reduction from the Park West Bicycle Casino, Bell Gardens would face drastic cuts to these essential services. While the card rooms have filed a lawsuit, cities like Bell Gardens and the City of Commerce cannot afford to wait and hope for an outcome. This is why we have taken action. The City of Bell Gardens has placed Measure BG on the June 26th special ballot. This measure is a quarter-cent sales tax projected to generate approximately $1.2 million annually to help stabilize our budget and protect essential services. This would still only cover approximately 1/3 of potential lost revenues from AG Bonta's proposed regulations. It's not our intention to raise the cost of living for the residents and stakeholders of Bell Gardens, but we have to make this hard decision in order to preserve what we already have. The reality is our options are limited. The city already receives a small portion of sales tax revenue that's generated on a daily basis in the city. That means we have very tools available to respond to a crisis of the magnitude of 40% of our general fund. If we don't act now, we risk the ability to protect the community, the businesses, and all the other stakeholders. This is not a step the city takes lightly. Like Commerce, we are acting because we must, not because we want to. Our responsibility is to protect essential services, maintain stability, and ensure that the City of Bell Gardens remains a safe and thriving community. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for being here. My name is Frances de Leon Sanchez, and I am the proud council member representing the great city of Bell Gardens. I want to start by making something very clear. We did not arrive at this moment quietly. Our residents, predominantly working class Latino families, have been overlooked in this process. For the past 2 years, since these regulations were first proposed, we have been actively advocating and raising concerns about the real impacts that they will have on communities like Bell Gardens and Commerce. We have attended meetings, participated in hearings, spoken at press conference, joined with other cities and stakeholders to send letters and request meetings with the AG. We have consistently raised concerns about what these regulations and negative impacts it would do to our communities. We made it clear to the Attorney General's office these regulations would have serious and real consequences. They would impact jobs, local economies, and city services. We asked him to do a specific economic analysis on how these regulations would impact our cities and communities. We asked that our voices and the voices of our community be taken seriously. But despite all those efforts, those concerns were not addressed. AG Bonta moved forward anyway. So now we're in the position where we must deal with the outcome of a decision one single elected official made that we strongly oppose. AG Bonta knew that our communities would be facing physical emergencies as the table tax revenue is critical for our cities. We're now left with no support to offset the losses. If the court doesn't step in to stop his regulations from going into effect on April 1st, we want our residents to know that this quarter tax is to make up for what their Attorney General Bonta has taken away from us, and we do not take that lightly. This is about standing up for our communities when others would not. We will continue to advocate for Bell Gardens, for Commerce, and for all the other cities that are facing this challenge. And when concerns are ignored, we will take the necessary steps to protect our residents and our cities. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kevin Larson. I'm the president of the City of Commerce Employees Association, AFSCME 773. And I stand here today representing these employees that stand behind me and this community that we serve. The City of Commerce is in a crisis, and it's a crisis that was brought on by outside forces, specifically Attorney General Bonta. His unilateral actions have put what we do here in the City of Commerce at risk. We're facing 40% of our revenue is at jeopardy. The Commerce Casino makes up 40% of the city's general fund, and we are looking at a loss of 10 to 15, $18 million in annual revenue because of the actions of the Attorney General Bonta. Not only that, but the jobs in the industry will also be lost. Up to 50% of the card club jobs up and down the state are at risk. That's tens of thousands of jobs that are going to be lost because of Attorney General Bonta's actions. The City of Commerce prides itself in providing services for the residents here in Commerce. And going forward, the city's going to look different, very different, with the type of services that we're able to provide if these regulations are not frozen, are not rescinded. The City of Commerce is a working class community that already has other impacts that the families have to deal with. We serve a community that's impacted by the 710 freeway, the 5 freeway, the Exide battery pollution, and now they're losing programs and services that the city provides to the residents here. The City Council has taken measures to try to help mitigate some of the damage of the Attorney General Bonta's actions by placing a quarter-cent sales tax measure on the ballot for June. The City of Commerce Employees Association fully supports this action, and we are asking for our community here in Commerce to rally behind us and support this measure to help stabilize the finances here in the City of Commerce. This measure will not replace the loss of revenue coming from the casino and the card club, but it will help us provide programs and services to the community that would otherwise be lost. So again, speaking to the community, please support this tax measure in June. And we are calling on Attorney General Bonta to freeze these regulations, to open up a dialogue with our elected leaders and with our labor representatives. We have asked for meetings with Attorney General Bonta, and he's refused to meet with us so far. And we're asking for him to sit down and talk to us, have a dialogue, and look at what these impacts are going to do and have on this community. Thank you.
To conclude, what you saw today is our leaders, our business leaders, the Commerce Casino, and our employees fighting for justice with regards to arbitrary decision that hurts our communities, our residents, our businesses. And what we're fighting against is special interest and a political payback by the Attorney General to the people that contribute to his campaigns in wealthy tribes. Thank you.
If you guys have any questions or have to take any questions now to any Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate all your time.